Where do you think humans are actually going to fit in? Do you feel like you're replacing humans with robots with what you do?
I think a lot of people worry about that. And like kind of the old school generation is like, no, I don't want AI because I care about my people. And my philosophy is because I care about people, I'm going to implement AI.
A lot of business owners might think, well, this stuff is new. It's kind of scary. I'm going to play it safe and just do it the way that it's always been done.
Like there might be AI behind me supporting me, but you're not buying the AI. You're buying me.
What was that moment where you started to see the significant growth in your organization?
Unlocking massive value with AI solutions. Sometimes it's the right off-the-shelf solutions.
It's not a time to be complacent.
AI is just filling the gaps where humans can't.
All right, boys and girls, we've got Brendan Lopes, founder and CEO of Multipli Tech in the house. It's a full-service technology app and web automation development agency. Brendan, what's up?
What's up, Mark? How are you today?
Brendan, I'm excellent. We just had Easter Sunday. It was beautiful. Family, friends, faith. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. I want to kind of start here as we were kind of getting to know each other a little bit before we hit record. You had mentioned we had been talking about potentially having more kids. I have two,
Yeah.
you've got three. And you had mentioned that you're going through a growth phase in your business. And just by looking down your LinkedIn profile here, kind of getting your background, I can see that you officially founded Multipli Tech back in 2018, 7 years ago.
Yep.
What happened over the past 7 years? What was that moment where you started to see the significant growth in your organization?
It's definitely been a journey, Mark, right? And so Multipli Tech is actually an even newer brand than 7 years ago. A lot of what you're seeing on LinkedIn, I was a sales consultant for another agency functioning as my own entity. So I was working for these agencies out of Chicago, Detroit, so some big custom software agencies, learning the ropes. And I was part of agencies where I saw them go from 6 figures a year to 8 figures a year. Not massive companies, but that's big growth cycles, as you and I both know. Like you cross a lot of thresholds in terms of break points for a company, and you see the importance of instilling the right systems, instilling the right core leadership. How do I preserve my values in the company and why you started throughout the evolution and the growth? You know, I think every entrepreneur somewhere along the journey says like, hey, this is it. This is where we're going to go for it. And for me, over the past 2 years is when I've made that transition. So I always like to say like, we are a growth startup. We've been doing the same thing for 12 years, and we've been officially doing it under the Multipli Tech brand for a handful of years. But I think where we've seen the most growth is, you know, you just get that snowball that takes a while to kick in sometimes, right? Like, so when you're doing these big projects, because it's custom consulting in our world, like we are building custom solutions for every one of our clients. And even if you can prove to someone or get someone to be on the same page of, hey, invest $1 million into this custom software solution, and we believe, and your team believes you're going to create $3 to $5 million of value, you're going to unlock that ROI for your organization over the next 2 to 3 years. Even if you can show them that, it still doesn't mean that it takes time, doesn't take time to build trust and to build to that. You might get a yes to a project that size, Mark, but still be 12 to 24 months out to actually getting that part of the project to come through. Most of our projects start with a consulting phase. Just like in construction, you don't build a house without a blueprint. In tech, you're not going to build custom software without a scoping and engineering phase. So we're currently in that cycle of our business where we have a lot of these consulting phases. They're about to flip into the full scale mode. And that's given us a lot of, like, we have quite a few clients now that are becoming raving fans because they've seen the impact of those consulting phases. They're jacked about the next 24-month technical blueprint that we put together with their team. And they've seen the value that we've created for them during that scoping and engineering process. And this is your world, like unlocking massive value with AI solutions. Sometimes it's the right off-the-shelf solutions. So we're just starting to see some organic scale. Like we're seeing that tipping point in our company right now of, man, this is about to explode. And we've got these referrals coming in. Obviously, referral-based sales, totally different than just cold outbound. So it's been a lot of fun. And yes, we were having that convo of, do we want more kids, right? We're about to hit that season of birthday month. So our kids will be 5, 3, and 1 coming out of June. So we've got the every 2-year thing going. And we were sharing this. I think we share our faith, obviously. Like kingdom entrepreneurship is what we strive for. Like we want our business to be a reflection of our values. We want to build something that our kids can be proud of as well. And we want to show them every day like what it means to go out and help people, like actually serve people, not just make a bunch of money. But yeah, we're having those conversations right now of how do we get the business to a point of scale where we can continue scaling the family too. So it's a fun season.
Well, I think the answer is obviously going to be robot caretakers, and
That's it.
I say
Yep.
that somewhat tongue in cheek, but it's
Dude, it's
the
coming, man. It's scary, but it's coming.
it's
So
it's it it's absolutely coming. You could almost think of like as a tablet as being somewhat of a robot caretaker, but I don't subscribe. I don't subscribe to that being a healthy solution, as we can see by the way that kids are going right now. So I do have another question here that is more tech related, right? You've got all these companies that are flipping over from the consulting phase into the activation and more into the execution phase. What's
yeah,
the biggest opportunity for a $10 million company right now? If I'm a $10 million company, I want to start automating, I want to start
yep,
adding in more software. What is the
yep.
biggest opportunity right now?
Yeah, I think the biggest things that I see, Mark, is that you know we're working with a lot of Gen 2 business owners right now. So people taking over these baby boomer companies where they saw mom and dad work 60 to 80 hours a week their whole life. And, my parents were similar. They worked super hard, grateful for that. But I think our generation, we've seen firsthand, like success isn't just money anymore. It's time. It's do I have the time to do the things that matter? Like people want to travel. People really like my value prop to that Gen 2 business owner that's 20 to 45 years old is like, I'm going to put your business in your pocket. I want to put your business on your phone. And so there's a lot of like what that can mean. Like some companies, they're 10 to 20 million dollars. They don't even have a cloud-based architecture. So like they literally can't execute their business unless they are in their physical office location, which means that they can only hire local talent, which
Ugh.
means that if the C-suite's not there physically in the office 5 days a week, eventually things start breaking. It's easier to take a company from a 3 to 4 on the tech spectrum to a 7 or an 8 than it is to take a company from an 8 to a 10, right? So during that initial discovery phase, we're finding these clients that they're really like they're unbelievable at their core business, but they might still be operating on the manila folder operating system where like an order comes in, they print it, put it in a folder on Susie's desk, and it slides across the office to 12 different checkpoints. So really like automation of workflow is one of the biggest opportunities. And in that, sometimes you see AI solutions now. Sometimes it's not even just AI, it's really just like true automation. We're seeing the opportunity to allow teams to scale their business without having to scale their team.
It sounds to me like the biggest opportunity is if you're not cloud-based, you need to be cloud-based.
You got to be cloud based, and then you got to have scalable tech solutions that let you run your business from everywhere, from anywhere, and like remove these human dependencies. Right? So many companies they're running businesses out of spreadsheets instead of out of software, and spreadsheets break eventually. Right? It's very hard to be proactive with your reporting when everything's in a spreadsheet.
So,
So
side note, some of these software is a nightmare too. I'm working with a client now. We built out the Google Ads infrastructure, the marketing infrastructure, the email automations, the SMS automation, but the reporting is a nightmare. I'm not going to throw out this CRM, on the show here, but some of these CRMs are just so ridiculously complicated. And by the way, the moment that you're like, oh, I need to add this feature on, it's like, all right, well, you need to upgrade your subscription cost.
yeah,
Get out of here. What are they doing? Like,
it
the
yeah,
reporting is a real pain, I gotta say.
it can be. It totally can be. And that's why it's like tech can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. I think for a lot of these people, like they didn't get in business to be tech specialists, right? Mark, you see it in your world too. They got in business because hey, I'm really good at making X product, and working hard there. So we're seeing more and more opportunities to come in as like fractional CTO, tech consultant, work with them to design the long-term tech stack solution and then implement strategically as we go. Sometimes it's custom software, sometimes it's off the shelf. But you are right. A lot of these off the shelf solutions, the implementation costs are crazy. The change management is challenging. And that's where Off the shelf solutions can be a really good fit, but sometimes it's custom. Sometimes you're better off just building from scratch and strategically phasing out the roadmap.
When you put the cloud-based solutions in place, and just to clarify what we mean by cloud-based, it's basically meaning, like you said, you're out of the Manila folder into a Google Cloud. It's into an online storage type of facility or housing. Once you're able to execute that, are you seeing a lot of local businesses hiring remote work and remote agencies to help facilitate the growth? What does that look like?
Yeah, well, I think COVID was the accelerator to this, right, Mark? It's like the way watching the way that the tech space changed, certain movements just accelerated during COVID was fascinating because people started realizing, like, wow, like I don't want a reliance on physical locations. And and again, like you really can get access to global talent now. Like again, if we're talking about offshore talent, like you're going to be way more cost effective. Now you got to have someone that can run those teams. But the way that businesses are scaling now, it really is truly global. And even if we're just talking like, hey, I live in Greenville, South Carolina, I want to hire people that are all across the country. You can do that with a cloud-based architecture. Like we do that as an agency, right? We don't have a lot of butts and seats here in Greenville because we want to pick people all over the place. There is benefit from sitting down face to face, but certain industries, people just want the expertise, right?
It certainly makes it a lot easier to hire, for sure. Although I find that the training is more challenging because you've got people that might have a different culture, or you can't actually sit in a room with them.
Culture can be hard, right? Culture can be really hard, and then like there's a whole separate conversation around hiring and developing people remotely, right? Like development of people, creating buy-in to the culture. That can be tough, but I think there's ways to do it, and companies are starting to figure it out.
What role is AI having in these automations? I know every company now is a AI company, quote unquote, when really they're just maybe got a little bit of tech enablement, AI enablement. But what role is AI playing as you're building out these new systems for these organizations?
AI is just filling the gaps where humans can't. Like that's the biggest thing I'm seeing is, um, the biggest areas are lead gen, streamlining the sales process, and then customer service. Those are the biggest things that I keep seeing. I mean, customer service, for example, you know, everyone wants to assert their opinion about like AI phone systems of like, well,
Yeah.
I would never use this. Well, I would never use this. Well, like the reality of the fact is there is real data out there available for every company about what it's costing them when they don't answer the phone. And what I'm telling a lot of our clients right now is I agree with you. No one's going to do the call better than you. Um, but no one's going to do it more consistently than AI. Just insert AI as the backup, right?
I saw a stat to that point. I saw a stat that if somebody fills out a request on your website or form, if you can give them a call within 60 seconds, you 5x your chance of conversion.
Exactly. There's more and more data like that coming out, Mark. It's wild. The stats are there that like you respond within 5 minutes, it's a game changer. And people are already spending the money to get people coming to them. Why would you not maximize it?
Yeah.
We've worked with firms where, medical practices where we had data to show that they literally left millions of dollars on the table last year in missed phone calls. And it's just like, yeah, I know you could hire more people, but just insert AI. Like AI can do the basics and like, it's getting better and better. And even if AI converts half the calls that you miss, like,
I just want to add, it does the basics, right? So, like, I'm just holding up a sheet of paper here. I'm closing on a new home, and these are all the vendors that I need to get in touch with. Okay. And there's some of them on there where the loop is open. I haven't heard back from them. And you know what I do? I still have that open psychological loop in my mind. But some of these people called me back almost immediately. They're checked off. It's off my list. I don't need to worry about it. It's already done. So, in some cases, it's just a text saying, "Hey, we got it. We're going to call you back." In which case, I can close off that psychological loop. I don't need
well,
a full 30-minute consultation or whatever. I just need someone to say, "We got it. We're coming. We're going to get back in touch with you," or let's schedule a time. An AI automated bot, for example, to do that.
agreed. And I think when people see the proactive, systematic communication, Mark, like that you're just on it, they'd rather have it 80% of the way that you could get it and done quickly and efficiently. You just buy yourself so much relational trust and equity. Because when people implement those cues, like you said, as a management level decision maker, you're just like, they got it. Cool. Versus if no one responds for 2 weeks, that's when you start wondering, like, are there bombs going off? Like, what's going on here? Right. helps you be way more proactive.
Especially in the advertising field where I'm at, we're running Google ads, YouTube ads, we need leads can be expensive, and you wanna make sure you maximize every lead, and so looking at the leaks, I find that that's I'm coming at it from a marketing perspective, but that particular item, how quickly do I respond to a lead is, to me, that's where AI is very exciting. Because the sales team, humans sleep, sales team sleep or they're busy or they're doing something. You gotta get back to them quickly. I do worry about where humans fit into this new ecosystem. Maybe you had a sales team of 20 people before, now you need a sales team of 5 because AI is tackling all these tasks. Where do you think humans are actually gonna fit in? Do you feel like you're replacing humans with robots with what you do?
I think a lot of people worry about that, and like kind of the old school generation is like, no, I don't want AI because I care about my people. And my philosophy is because I care about people, I'm going to implement AI. Like it's just like it is what it is. Like there's certain things that only humans can do. I want them doing that. My wife, she used to work in healthcare. She got into nursing because she loved people. She wanted to help people. Mark, guess what? She spent 80% of her day doing charting, doing random stuff that didn't impact people. And if we really want to go there, taking care of people that weren't even paying to be there and ungrateful for it. So like, what do you want to do? You want to enable people to do the piece that only people can do. And again, this is where like I'd be curious to hear your take on this too. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask questions, but as a kingdom entrepreneur, AI doesn't have a spirit. AI can't empathize. It can't feel yet, at least. Who knows where we're going? But like, I I think that's the magic. Like there is magic as a business owner. I believe with everything in me that when I walk into the room, I bring the blessing. And there's a lot that I could dive into there, but like I also feel a weight of stewardship that comes with that. And then that's why like, you know, our family, our core values are our yes is only as powerful as our no. Like if we're not saying no to clients, we're not doing justice to all people because we are not a fit for everyone. And when it's a yes, and it's going to be abundantly clear. It's going to be a home run for everyone. And we're going to transform those people's lives. We want to have the conversations that matter, not just the conversations about tech. You can't do that with just AI. But I also find it very hard to get to those conversations that really matter with depth if you're all over the place trying to do all these admin functions that so many business owners are just to keep the lights on. They come up for, especially, season with young kids like you're in too. People don't even come up for air until 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night when the kids are down. Like I want to spend my time thinking and thinking about how can I impact the people we're working with, not just doing all the doing. And part of that systems for scale and having the right team, but part of that is always going to be tech stack. So when people ask me the question like, hey, like, how do you see the evolution of tech impacting your business? Significantly. Like totally significant. Our business could look totally different 5 years from now. But guess what won't look different? The need for people to find the best talent across the world and implement it strategically with people that they trust. That's it. So I just want to be a trusted partner to people where they know like, hey, he's going to go the extra mile and he's going to do the right thing, even if it costs him something. But how about you? Like, what's your take? Because you're in this world just as much as I am with AI solutions. And what's your take like from the impact from the perspective of what can it do that people people can't? What can people do that it can't? How's your faith shape that?
There's a parable in the Bible that Jesus tells, and those whenever some of people hear that word, they're like, it's in the Bible. But there's a parable that Jesus tells, where basically a boss or master gives money to 3 of his servants. One goes out and multiplies it, the other multiplies it by little, and the other just buries it to just because he wants to play it safe. And the guy that buries it and plays it safe does not turn out well for him. He's a wicked servant, as it says in the Bible. And I kind of see tech and AI in that light. I think that a lot of people, a lot of business owners might think, well, this stuff is new. It's kind of scary. I'm going to play it safe and just do it the way that it's always been done. And that is, I think, a very dangerous place to be in because the world is changing so rapidly. And
Amen, brother.
you're just not going to be able to compete. You're not going to be able to compete with the speed, with the agility, with the flexibility, with the customization that implementing automation and artificial intelligence are going to give you. And by the way, it gives your customers a better experience. The flip side of that is that there are a lot of people, those people that are burying their talent or burying their opportunity. You're in, I think it's a very dangerous place to be because you're not gonna be equipped, you're not gonna be able to speak the language that's necessary to get the job, to get the
Yep.
client, to get the customer, you
Yep.
know?
Couldn't agree more.
It's not a time to be complacent.
As we're talking through this, we talked about parenting on the front end. Like, if we parented our kids the exact way that our parents parented us, that wouldn't be good stewardship.
It wouldn't make sense, yeah.
That the world has changed. Like, there's certain core principles that are still applying. There's certain core principles in business that are undefeated, but like the actual application of them it changes over time, right? Just like I want to equip my kids for what's coming in the future. And this is why, again, Mark, like, our take has always been we are management consultants first. Like, the language of business is financials, it's ROI, and the skill set of business is storytelling. Like, he who can tell a story will always win. And I'm not saying make up a story, but like, make the numbers tell a story, right? And empathetically connect with people to move people emotionally, just to help them do what they already want to do. And again, this is where I think people buy people more than ever right now.
Yeah.
Like, there might be AI behind me supporting me, but you're not buying the AI. You're buying me. And like, now when people buy me, they get way more of me because AI is doing this. I'm doing this, right? At least that's my goal. And I think people can feel that. And that's where, again, you can't automate pieces of that.
No, I agree with that. I'll give you a couple specific examples. One example was earlier today, I was dealing with a kind of a complex sales tracking spreadsheet, and it
Yep.
was erroring out. I couldn't figure it out. Copy and pasted and asked the question in ChatGPT. 5 minutes later, the problem was fixed. Another thing that is really time consuming for me is getting on these long consultation calls and onboarding calls and asking all these questions and then processing the questions. For example, if I'm doing launching a new YouTube campaign for someone, I say, well, what's your business? Who's your avatar? What's their problem point? Well, now I don't necessarily need to do all of that. I can send a worksheet before the call. They can fill that out. That gets sent over to an AI bot, which processes all the information. It goes out on the web. It looks at the context, looks at competitors, and it can start to develop all that prep beforehand. So we can spend more time on stuff that matters more.
I agree, man. Like, there's a lot of calls now where I kind of tell execs, I'm like, hey, I'm going to come in hot because the most valuable thing you have is your time. And until you trust that I'm going to add value, I'm going to lean towards value over relationship. And if we get to value, we'll get to relationship. But like, I don't need an hour to read a PowerPoint to you, right? Like, and this is why I love what you're doing, Mark, because I truly believe that, like, how do you scale? Well, you scale through code, you scale through content, you scale through capital, you scale through collaboration. And like
Ugh.
what you're doing here with the podcast, like, content, like, is so valuable. Like, why would I say the same thing 20 times in a day versus doing it really well, having a couple core messages that are memorialized on my LinkedIn, on my Instagram, and people can just, they're assets. They become sales assets for the company and just like core culture assets as well. Like, I don't want to read to people. Like, you're a grown adult. I want a solution for you. And people, I think it just builds massive trust when you do that. It just shows people you understand their business, you understand their world, and it buys you equity to get to the deeper conversations down the road. I'm totally with you there.
Yeah, it's very powerful. I have a YouTube video, it's reached 500,000 people. The problem is it's not one of my core sales, items, so I think that's where strategy comes in, is how do I make compelling content that reaches my target market and, target avatar can actually bring the call to action to something that I'm selling and I'm able to provide, It's pretty easy to go viral, but the question is, okay, now that I'm viral, question mark, question mark, question mark. If I go viral for the wrong thing, I actually had an interesting issue pop up, because I have my AI newsletter. I talk a lot about AI. And I started getting all these people calling me to do AI consulting and asking me complicated SaaS questions. I was like, I actually don't know how to do this. I can create a powerful YouTube ad campaign for you. Does that sound good? Like, no, and so it's anyway, it's important that we are clear from a marketing perspective on why we're creating the content, what the goal with that content is. Well, listen, y'all, it's time to scale. It's time to throw away the mill of folders and speak with someone like Brendan. You can follow him on LinkedIn, link below, or you can go straight to multiply.tech. multipli.tech to check out what Brennan's got going on there and how he can help you scale with cloud-based AI automation solutions. Brendan, thanks for joining the show today.
Thanks so much, Mark. Appreciate you, brother. Be blessed.